Have you ever looked at your husband and quietly wondered, where did the man I married go? Not because he's become cruel, not because he's walked away, but because something feels different. Maybe he doesn't laugh the way he used to. Maybe conversations that once lasted for hours now last only a few minutes. Maybe he's quieter, more serious, more tired. Maybe you find yourself missing the man you fell in love with and wondering if he's gone forever. If you've ever had those thoughts, I want you to know something. You're not strange. You're not alone. And asking that question doesn't automatically mean your marriage is failing. It means you're noticing that life has changed both of you. One of the biggest surprises in marriage is discovering that love doesn't stand still. Neither do people. When Jake and I first started our life together, we were different people than we are today. We had different dreams, different worries, different responsibilities. We had more energy than wisdom. As the years passed, life started adding things to our shoulders. Bills, work, family responsibilities, health problems, disappointments, unexpected seasons we never imagined we would face. Life has a way of shaping us. The man you marry at 30 isn't going to be the same man at 50, 60, or 70. And the woman he married won't be the same either. Sometimes we expect our spouse to stay exactly the way they were when we first fell in love. But that's not how people grow. We're all being shaped by the experiences we live through. Our victories shape us. Our failures shape us. Our losses shape us. Our illnesses shape us. Even our responsibilities shape us. There was a season in our marriage when illness changed everything. Jake became very sick. He spent weeks in the hospital fighting for his life. I slept on that hospital couch night after night, wondering what tomorrow would bring. When he finally came home, life wasn't suddenly normal again. He was weak. I became his caregiver. The roles in our marriage changed overnight. There were days when I missed the strength he used to have. There were days when he missed the independence he once enjoyed. Neither one of us chose that season, but we had to learn how to love each other inside it. That experience taught me something I'll never forget. Sometimes what looks like change is actually pain. Sometimes what looks like distance is exhaustion. Sometimes what looks like silence is someone carrying a burden they don't know how to explain. Years ago, if Jake became quiet, I might have assumed he was upset with me. Now I've learned to pause before I assume. I've learned to ask myself, what else could be happening? That one question has saved us from many unnecessary misunderstandings. Another lesson I learned is that assumptions can become stories we tell ourselves. We notice one change, then our mind starts filling in all the blanks. He doesn't talk. He must not care. He didn't notice me. He must not love me anymore. Before long, we've built an entire story without having a real conversation. I've done that before. Maybe you have too. One thing I had to learn was that my thoughts weren't always telling me the truth. I had to stop believing every fear that came into my mind. Instead, I needed to seek understanding. The Bible tells us to be quick to listen and slow to speak. That wisdom has helped me many times. Listening often reveals things assumptions never could. I've also learned that men and women don't always carry stress the same way. Many husbands don't process emotions out loud. Some become quieter. Some throw themselves into work. Some focus on solving problems instead of talking about them. That doesn't mean they're handling everything well. It simply means they may express pressure differently. As wives, we sometimes interpret silence as rejection, but silence can have many causes. That's why understanding matters. Now, I also want to say something important. Not every change is harmless. If your husband has become abusive, controlling, unfaithful, or is struggling with addiction or serious mental health issues, those situations deserve honest attention and, in many cases, outside help. Understanding doesn't mean ignoring serious problems. Healthy marriages require both love and wisdom. But many marriages aren't facing those situations. Many are simply facing ordinary life, and ordinary life has a way of making extraordinary people tired. Here's something else I've learned after all these years. Marriage isn't about falling in love one time. It's about learning the person you're married to over and over again. Every season introduces someone slightly different. The young husband, the father, the provider, the empty nester, the retiree, the caregiver, the patient, the grandfather. Every season reveals another layer of who they are. The same is true for wives. We're changing too. Sometimes we become more patient. Sometimes we become more fearful. Sometimes stronger. Sometimes softer. Sometimes more confident. Sometimes more tired. Marriage gives us the opportunity to keep discovering one another instead of assuming we already know everything. So if your husband seems different today, don't immediately ask, who has he become? Instead, ask, what has life been asking him to carry? That question invites compassion instead of criticism. And compassion has a way of opening doors that accusations never will. If you're in this season right now, I want to encourage you. Start with one conversation, not an argument, not a list of complaints, a conversation. Ask how he's really doing. Listen without interrupting. Share your heart without attacking his. You may discover that both of you have been feeling more alone than either of you realized. Long marriages aren't built because two people never change. They're built because two people keep choosing to know each other as they change. That's one of the greatest gifts marriage offers. You don't just love the person you married, you learn to love every new version of the person standing beside you. If your marriage feels different today, don't lose hope too quickly. Different doesn't always mean worse. Sometimes it simply means you're entering a new season, and new seasons invite us to grow. I'm Donna. Thank you for spending this time with me. And remember, this is a season, not a sentence.